All right, here we go. We're on the last night of our 7 days. The last night. So, we're on the last night. So, for those that do not know, I am Tanisha Shanee, Miss Inspiration. I am the author of Dear Single in Love, 8 Principles for the Woman Waiting for her God ordained purpose mate. Lord, cover this broadcast, cover this teaching tonight, Lord. Have your way. We finally made it to day 7. And for those of you that are interested, you can get this book right now as a physical copy or as a Kindle on Amazon. And I will have in the next couple of days, maybe a week, information on how you can pre-order the audiobook. Yes, I have finally stepped out of my comfort zone and I have recorded the audiobook of this book. Okay. So tonight we are going to discuss chapter 8. Chapter 8 is the one chapter that at first I didn't know, like I was like, all right, God, I feel like chapter 8 kind of sums up everything that we should be doing. Right. And that's really what it is. It's a summary of everything, and it's going to just remind you of some of the steps that you may have forgotten about, things that you might have, bypassed in principles 1 through 7. So chapter 8, we are discussing patience. Now, I know that patience is a principle that many of us as a society, it's not even just about relationships, it's about anything. There are so many people that just don't have patience in general. And I know that on a normal day, I normally don't have patience. So if you are honest with yourself, you could probably say, yeah, there are certain things I am not patient about. And so having to wait for something that you really want is like 10 times harder. And this person that you're waiting to come into your life, it's hard for you to like be patient about, and really just have a heart of joy while you are waiting. And that's pretty much what patience is. Patience is basically having the ability to wait for, I'm just going to move forward, the ability to stay calm while you are waiting for an outcome that you need or desire. And when we think about this, what God is really trying to see is what is your patience stance looking like, right? How are you presenting yourself when you are in that season of patience? Some people cannot be patient. Some people will rather go out there, and this is where they start to be promiscuous. This is when they start to just date any and everyone. This is when they have downloaded every dating app. I mean, God is telling them, no, the person for you is not on dating apps. You need to be healing. They're not healing. They're doing everything they're trying to avoid. They're going from one relationship to the next relationship. They're just jumping all around, and they don't have this calm sense of just trusting that I know God is going to bring this to me. So they're just doing everything in their own will. They're trying to take control of it. Like I had stated yesterday, a lot of us, we can believe that God can do a lot for us, right? I know people that have literally told me, like, all right, I can give God control of A, B, C, D, but I have control over E, F, and G. So they have separated what God, what they know. I know God can handle that, but I'm gonna handle this. And this is where we end up in abusive relationships. This is where we end up in relationships that it's just nothing but drama and conflict. This is where you end up in relationships where, the person is using you, abusing you. You're meeting the narcissist. Like, you're meeting the wrong person because you're taking that control. You're not being patient enough to say, well, God, I believe that you have given me my dream job. I believe that you have given me the health and the healing that I need. So why can't we have that same level of belief that God can bring that right person into your life? Forget about what society is telling you to do. Society is giving you a lot of bad advice. Society is having people jump into relationships because, let's talk about it, right? Let's be real. I live in one of the most expensive cities in the world, New York City. New York City right now, depending on where you want to live in the city, people are paying $2,000 to $3,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment. Because of that pressure, there are people that are in relationships right now, living with someone that they don't even like. Like they don't like the person, they don't love the person, they don't want to marry that person. They barely want to look at this individual, but they're forcing themselves in a relationships because alone, either they cannot afford that $2,000 by themselves or they don't want to pay the $2,000 by themselves. Even though God has blessed them with the job, they're making six figures. They would rather say, you know what, I don't want to pay 2,000, so I'm gonna meet this person. I'm gonna shack up with this individual. I don't necessarily care for this individual, but we're gonna go 50-50. I'm gonna pay 1,000, they're gonna pay 1,000, and they are in this relationship. And then what ends up coming out that relationship is toxic. They're cheating on someone. So now the person finds out that you're cheating on them. Now they may lay hands on you. Y'all have a joint account. They wake up in the middle of the night and they just take all the money and they bounce and they leave. There's just so many things that can go wrong when we end up allowing society to take control. And so, yes, I know it's very difficult to be patient and to just sit calmly and know, all right, you know what, God, I believe that this person is coming. I believe that you're going to do these things. And this is why I say in Principles 1-7, there's a lot of things that you need to be doing in that season. You can really accelerate how fast that person comes into your life if you did the work. I'm 100% transparent. I know one of the things that has stopped and delayed me meeting my person is because God kept telling me, I need you to be in purpose. I need you to be in purpose. You can't meet your purpose, mate, if you're not in purpose. And guess what? I wasn't being consistent. I wasn't out here talking about this book. I wasn't out there, doing my workshops and doing my speaking engagements and doing my podcast consistently. And so when I was not operating in purpose, that person could not see me. That person could not see me because God kept telling me that person is going to see you. And so if I'm not showing up to be the person that I need to be, then he will not see me. Right? So we have to really think about what is it that you should be doing. I want to go back a little bit too. So there is a scripture. And the one thing that I say is that this partnership is a gift. This partnership that you and this right person are going to come together, it's going to be a gift. It's going to give you so much peace. Not saying it's going to be perfect because nothing is perfect. You're not going to have 365 days of pure 100% beautiful bliss. That's not what God is saying, because even those who follow God, who believe God, we don't have perfect lives. I don't have a perfect life. I almost died in 2016, almost lost my home in 2016. And again in 2017, I couldn't drive my car for 2 years. I remember seeing my checking account have $0, have negatives. Like, I know what it looks like when you have to have that kind of faith in God, and it's uncomfortable. So yes, you and your person are going to come together. And sometimes it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be the right partnership. You're going to have someone who's going to be thinking strategic. That person is going to be able to identify, all right, babe, they might be proactive. You may not understand why is he making extra money? Why is he putting out, why is he doing Uber Eats, once a week, and he's putting money to the side? He could be doing that because God might be telling him, this is about to be a financial crisis, and y'all kind of need that little extra $200 in the future. You don't know, but God has told him. And because he has his antennas open and God is speaking to him, he's preparing you for that. So we don't understand how this is going to truly, at the end of the day, be so beneficial to both of you. Okay. So like I said before, patience, this is the definition of patience. Now, one thing that I do want us to be mindful of, and I remember back in 2015, I had met this young lady and I had said to her, I say, I'm just praying for patience. And she said, girl, stop. And I said, what you mean? She said, don't pray for patience, because when you pray for patience, that means that you are opening opportunities to be tested. That's going to test your patience. And I never thought about that. I truly never thought about ever, well, I need patience to deal with, anyone that knows me. I'm being an adult educator, and it's not the easiest task. And some days I used to pray for patience, and I used to get tested quite often at work. And once I understood that was the wrong prayer to pray, I realized it was not keeping me calm. So I had to stop praying. So I want you, if you are praying for patience, you're probably wondering why. Well, how come all these, all these dudes are sliding in my DMs and they're asking for nudes? Why are all my exes reaching out? They don't have anything to say, right? Or you might be responding in a negative tone. Let me tell you how was it 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, this guy that I met many years ago, I want to say I probably met this gentleman like 2012, 2011. And 2 weeks ago, he reached out to me and he said to me, I want to take you out. I said, you know what? We'll see. I already knew we were not going to go out. It's not that I was putting out negative energy. I already knew because I know his habits. Now, the difference is normally I will react to those said habits. And this time I didn't. So the last time we communicated was the Wednesday before that. We were supposed to go out that Sunday. The last time we communicated was that Wednesday. And I just said to him, if you really want to take me out, please confirm Friday or Saturday. Friday came, no confirmation. Saturday came, no confirmation. 2:00 was the time that we were allegedly supposed to go out on Sunday. 2:00 came and went. I was in my bed watching my Golden Girls, minding my entire business. I did not reach out. I did not send a message. My spirit was not irritated. It was not frustrated, nor was it annoyed, because I was calm. I know that person is not my person. So it didn't move me in any way, right? And I think that's also something God wants to see, because we get frustrated even with people that we know are not our people. So you're sitting here frustrated, mad, and upset for what? You already know that this person is not the person for you. So why are you even moved by it? And that's something that even I have to learn, right? And I'm still learning. So I'm sharing that with you because some of you might be in that same situation where someone might be consistently trying to come back into your life, and they might be consistently trying to make plans with you, and they never keep those plans, and you react in such a negative, you're getting your blood pressure up. Don't do it. Don't do that. Don't even give them, don't pour into that. None of that whatsoever. So in the book, I do discuss how patience leads to the best gift. And I think I actually did a video on that not so long ago. Right? So in the book, I did write, patience leads to the best gifts because you are trusting and believing God for something to come in a time frame unknown to you. And that truly is still, when I reread my book 2 months ago, I was like, wow, God, like you're saying some powerful things to me, right? Because it realized that's exactly what it is. When you start having that level of patience with God, you're just like, God, I'm trusting that this is gonna come in your time frame. Like you have to release all of that. Like right now, when you hang up from this, when you start watching this video, I want you to go into a serious prayer and ask God to release all the anxiety. Take that anxiety away from me, Lord. I don't want to know when he's coming. I don't know, how he's going to look. I don't know what that time frame, because I want you to move into a sense of urgency when you finish this. You got to go into a sense of urgency because there's something that each one of us need to start doing. Okay. So you have work to do. I have work to do, right? Again, which areas are you ready to heal in? This is something that you can choose. And there might be things that God might be choosing. And the reason why I say there might be things that God might be choosing is because it's going to be things that are either going to like ring an alarm. So I always think about health. A lot of people have to really start putting their health as a priority. Some of you might have to work on getting your A1Cs down, work on getting your blood pressure down. This doesn't necessarily mean that you need to lose weight. Because again, there are a lot of diabetics who are a size 2, and there are a lot of people on high blood pressure and high cholesterol medication, and they are a size 4. So it's not about weight. Just focus on, if God is talking to you about your health, you might just need to start drinking more water. Like I said the other day, I think I had shared this. Some of you might need to start drinking lemon with ginger if you're dealing with any inflammation in your body, right? These are just little tidbits to start healing. And when you start adding that into your daily routine, that's going to start to help you to change your mindset, right? We just don't realize the small little things that we make into a habit, right? we're going to start seeing new things changing in our lives on a daily basis. Some of you might need to start to pray, meditate. You might need to start exercising, moving your body. You might need to start reading affirmations. Create your own affirmation cards. Get you some index cards and write out affirmations, and read them every day to yourself. For those of you that are registered in the handbook, the digital handbook I gave you, I think it's for like day one, I did an affirmation video on YouTube. Go and watch that and find other ones like that. I will be creating more of those, so you will also be able to have more, and I will keep you in the loop when they become available. But you want to start putting yourself in this space of, where do I need to start healing, and just get started there. Are you operating in purpose yet? Some of you don't know what your purpose is. You have no idea. You're totally clueless to this. Well, the other night I gave you some tips. 2 nights ago, I gave you some tips on how to get started, how to start identifying at least a list of things that you can start pursuing. You can start putting a little bit more energy and effort into. Again, if you are looking, you want to sit with someone that's going to help you strategize, you can sign up. You can get that one-on-one coaching offer that I have, where you're able to sit with me for 2 sessions a month, and we can go through and help you start to devise and start seeing this in a bigger picture and start taking action steps towards that life of purpose and healing, right? So you have to start figuring out, and again, it's not always about, well, let me go find a new job, because a lot of us do that quite often, and you're not moving in purpose. So you're just moving from job to job instead of saying, God, lead me to my next assignment. And it could be a volunteer opportunity. It could be a creative project. It could be, a group that you can support. Each one of us can teach the world something. What are you willing to teach the world? What can you teach me? What can you come to me and say, hey, Tanisha, I could teach you, fill in the blank. That's how I want you to think, because there's something out there that I don't know. And this is the reason why people always say to me, you're always doing some kind of workshop, some kind of masterclass, because God has given me a whole bunch of things that I can teach you. And I'm going to just do my part. And those that show up, they're going to show up. And those that don't show up, then guess what? They're going to just catch up. That's fine. But at least I know that I'm showing up and I'm doing my part. And that's what you have to start doing. You got to get to that mindset of saying, how can I show up? And how can I do what God needs me to do? Right? How is your everyday waiting stance? Let me tell y'all something. If you're out here, men are dogs, all men ain't ish. The dating pool has poop in it. That is telling God you're not ready for the person to come. I know a lot of people, I started to distance myself from those kind of people, because if that's all that you have to say when it comes to relationships, you're not being patient. You don't even believe that God can change someone's heart. Because the one thing I always say to people, especially those that are Christians, a lot of Christians always want to judge individuals. But guess what? If your life has not always been perfect, if you have not always been a perfect person, if there have been things that God had to do work in you, why do you think that a man out there who might have been a dog when he was 18, 19, 21, 25, why don't you think that God can change them around? God had to change the person that I was. Amina, when you knew me, I was a hot mess. I was angry, ready to take people head off 5.5 seconds. No, forget 5.5, 2.2 seconds. I'm ready to go from 0 to 100. And I admit that. And God had to do work in me. And God had to calm me down. And God had to remind me, you can't be this way. Because one, you want to just have a heart attack and you keep spazzing out. That's just not healthy. So if God can change a person like me, why can't we believe that the men out there, even the men today that are not the best individuals, why can't we believe that he can change them too? Right? So you have to start speaking that life, speaking that positivity, speaking that there's love out there. Not all it's all about sex, all men want sex. If that's what you keep believing, that's all that you're going to get. If you're only listening to music about sex, and cheating, and side piece, then you're telling God, that's what I want. This is what I believe in. I'm gonna share tonight when we afterwards. I'm gonna share on my timeline, and those that register, I'm gonna share with you a playlist of, and it's not a lot of songs because I'm still putting those songs together, but I'm just gonna start putting the playlist. And if you have YouTube, you'll be able to see when I update songs in that playlist, you'll be able to see that update, and you can kind of follow that. And I want us to just get into this habit of, putting on that type of love music, the love songs, and we got to be careful because some songs, they sound like a love song. See, people laugh at me because I read lyrics, right? I'm one of those individuals that I will go on YouTube and find the video that has the lyrics. Because remember back in the days, you buy a CD, most CDs had the lyrics in the book. I miss them days. So I want the lyrics. I want to read what they said. I want to see how did they create this sentence and where's the comma and is there a semicolon? Because the comma and semicolon have two different reasons. This is the English professor here. That's me talking right now. But this is why I say, like, you want to read these words, so you want to make sure that he just say what I thought he said, or did she just say? You know how many songs that we have probably been singing from teenage and probably before we should have been listening to these songs, and we have to just jamming like this is my love song. And as you got older, you realize there was nothing love about this song. This song was all about having a side piece and a mistress. Okay, so we got to start putting that, turn that energy around. Again, forgiveness. I'm putting out a new ebook about forgiveness next week. I'm about to put out a new ebook about forgiveness because this is actually what's causing a lot of people to stay stuck. The lack of forgiveness is causing so many people to be stuck. And I don't want you to get into that season of staying stuck in that lack of forgiveness, because that could truly be the one thing that can block you. You can heal, you can work out, you can eat all the vegetables, all the fruit, drink all the water, listen to all the love music, but let that one person that you are holding a grudge towards, their name be mentioned and you're spazzing out. Just envision this. So when you're out in public and that person comes across you, or someone mentions that individual and you react, and your future husband is coming down the street or he's entering the building where you are, and he sees that, everything else that you have done is definitely, it doesn't make a difference, because they now see you in action in response to this. So we have to be extremely mindful of the things that we're doing and how we are reacting. So this is why I say this is the work. There might be one person that you have to forgive. Get to it. Get to it. Again, do not worry about that person. Worry about and remember, write this down. Forgiveness is for me. Forgiveness is for my healing. Forgiveness is for my soul. It's going to help you get to the next chapter of your life. It has nothing to do with that individual. Don't worry about the rest of it. It's about you, right? So what are you doing to make you happy, right? We can't wait for someone to come along and make us happy. We cannot wait for anyone to come and make us happy. What are you doing right now? What do you like to do? Do you like to go out to the movies? Then start going to the movies. Do you like going ice skating? Start going ice skating. You like going for drives late at night or to the water? Do it. Everything that you love to do, everything that makes you happy, start doing that. You love to travel? Start traveling. Don't wait for anyone. Don't call your best friend. Don't call your sister and your brother and your cousins. Go by yourself. Because if you keep waiting for other people, their time might not be your time. Your time is not their time. And it's going to always be a hindrance. It's going to be a delay and a delay. And you're going to be sitting there sad and frustrated because you see other people like me. People have inboxed me. I wish I can go travel by myself. Why can't you? And a lot of times it's just because of fear. It has nothing to do with money. Usually the ones that do inbox me, it's not about money. It's about fear. They have allowed fear and the society making them think that, oh, people are going to be looking at me strange. No, they're not. When I go to the Delta Sky Lounge, that's where I hang out at when I go, not fly. I'm not bougie, but I'm a little bougie. But there's a lot of people in there by themselves. They're in the corner doing their thing, reading their newspaper, drinking their coffee, eating their breakfast. We're doing our own thing. It's not a whole bunch of people in a group setting. Most of those individuals are there by themselves. So no one is looking at anyone saying, you see them going, they're going there. First of all, they don't know where you're going unless you are advertising it. So you can be going to DC, to Boston, to Denver, to LA, to Brazil. You can go to any other places. No one's going to know there. And no one is sitting there looking, saying, you see them sitting by themselves? No one cares. If they're going and they are going to be happy, then do it. Go to a restaurant. Find one restaurant. I challenge you. It's the December 6th. We have, 20 days left? Is it 20 days? 25 days left. Yes, 25. Pick one day between now and the new year and take yourself out for a meal, preferably lunch or dinner, and maybe even try to take yourself to like a nice place. So you might want to get extra little cute, and just go and experience. Get your nice glass of wine. If you don't drink, that's even better. Get your nice glass of club soda with some lime and just enjoy. Do that for you, not for anyone else, right? Now, it's time for us to start listening to the Holy Spirit as well. Because a lot of people, again, like I keep saying, them dating apps, I'm just not a fan of dating apps anymore. I can honestly say that I have met in my experiences of dating apps that I am still in communication with in some capacity, 3 people. And we're just cordial. I can hit them up, hey, how you doing? Just do a check-in. Like there's no romantic anything. The one that attempted to take me out 2 weeks ago, I met him from a dating app. But you see how that even goes. So we're not saying, and I know that there are people out there that have had successful relationships, that have gotten married. I just need you to speak to the Holy Spirit about that. Allow them to order your steps about that. Listen to the Holy Spirit about going backwards, right? Again, like I said yesterday, I'm seeing a group of people on social media who are sharing stories about they broke up and 3 years, 5 years later, they got back together. They're in a better space. They both did some healing. Either they went to therapy, they just started changing their mindset, and they are in a better space, and they are now on that path. That's fine. That is absolutely perfect. If God is leading you to do that, then do it. But if God is not doing it, if you're just sitting there bored because it's getting cold, right? And there are people out here that are very transparent about this. They're like, it's cold out here. I need somebody to hold me at night. And they out here just call, hey, big head, and they're just texting someone because they just want that comfort. You're going to put yourself in a dangerous situation because you are going back to something that you are familiar with. But this is where I need you to remind yourself, why did I leave this in the first place? Especially if they are displaying the same traits. If a person is still displaying the same exact traits as before, then this is something that you don't need to revisit. Walk away, right? Only going out for free meals. I understand times is getting a little bit hard. Someone might want to take you out. You're like, let me go out there and just give me a free dinner because, I could have me some lunch for tomorrow for work. Ask God, should you do that? I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but I'm also saying that it might be something that we might not want to entertain, right? It's very daunting. Like, I don't know if anyone has ever experienced this, but it's daunting trying to go out with someone that you don't enjoy their company. Right? I've done that before. And trust me, I can't get that time back. Because you're sitting there thinking like, I don't know about y'all, but I be like, I could be at home watching Golden Girls. Yes, I watch a lot of Golden Girls. But I could be at home watching Golden Girls. I could be at home. I could just be at home putting up the lights on my tree. Like there's so many other things that I feel like I think about what I could be doing instead of being there with this person. Right? I had a guy that I used to date, and it was so bad that I used to work in Canarsie, Brooklyn, and I lived around Flatbush area. Now, if you're driving, that's a quick, easy ride. But at the time, I was not driving. So I had to take 3 buses. So it would take me over an hour to commute. Don't you know there were times that he would call, hey, I can come pick you up from work. Let's go grab a bite to eat. And I would say no. And my best friend, my other friends, they were like, why do you keep saying no? Like, you don't have to take all those buses. I would rather take all of the 3 buses that I would need to take than to sit in the company of someone that irritates my soul. The person that does not allow me to speak. All he wants to do is talk about himself, talk about his body, his expensive jewelry, the work that he does, the people that have, that he dated in the past, that he's talking negative and talking down about them. I don't want to be around that. Not even for a free ride. Like, sometimes people thought I was crazy, and it was wintertime when I reconnected with this gentleman. It was winter. So y'all know winter in New York City and waiting for buses, 3 buses, it has to be bad when a woman says, no, thank you, I would take the buses. Because I started to learn. I wrote this book in 2018. I released it in 2019. I connected with him in 2018. That's when God really was like, the book was coming to my mind, and it was like in my spirit. And it was situations like that. It's like, I'm speaking for what God was telling me, because it was like, God, should I just let him? And God was like, no, because that's going to compromise your spirit. It's going to compromise your soul. You're just saying yes because it's 20 degrees outside. I'm going to get you home. The bus is not going to take as long as you think it's going to take. And those times that I really just like gave God all the faith, it normally would take an hour. Sometimes it took 45 minutes. I saved 15 minutes. I was thankful for that. I saw that as a blessing. Thank you, Lord. You got me home faster than I normally would on any other night, because I did not compromise and go and get in that man's car and go sit and have dinner with him, knowing I did not like this individual. Some of y'all already know you don't like the person, and you're just like, oh, I'm just going to go for the free meal. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. It's time for us to start understanding the true definition of unequally yoked. Many people just think that they look at it from a Christian standpoint. People hear this from a Christian mindset. Oh, if he believes in Jesus and I believe in Jesus, then we're equally yoked. That's not true. Not both could believe in Jesus, and y'all have 2 different mindsets. Y'all have 2 different lifestyles, right? It's very rare where we see a vegan and someone who's not a vegan date. They don't have the same lifestyle. They are going to eventually start to judge one another. And I have seen people, they would try because they have other things in common, but it's like, those are 2 far extremes. So unless someone has become, like, I know some people that became vegan for health reasons, it's not because of they understand the background of vegan and vegan, and they decide, like, because of that. Some people are like, I can't have dairy. And it's not because I'm a vegan or anything. I can't have dairy because I'm lactose intolerant and I have gallstones. Dairy will activate and cause me pain in my gallstones. So I can date someone who's a meat lover. I don't care. But if someone is a true vegan and they're seeing someone come out with this big old steak, 12-ounce steak, they literally might vomit, right? So you want someone that has the same mindset as you. So I have a freedom mindset. I used to have the mindset, I'm gonna work hard, play hard. Now I believe in work smart, play hard. So I have dated guys in the past that had 2 full-time jobs. That's cool. Nothing is wrong with that. But that's not my mindset anymore. The things that I want in life, I want to be able to tap into my gifts, allow God to use me, and allow my gifts to make income for me. So when I started to make my journals, when I started to write my books, that's generating a stream of income. Now I'm just trying to figure out how to start, generating those ads and just naturally, so that while I'm like truly while I'm sleeping, I can see the 4 or 5 figures while I'm sleeping. So I have the foundation because I understand this is possible. I don't want to have to put 60, 80 hours into 2 companies so that I can support my lifestyle. So that's a mindset. So this is why when I was in Myrtle Beach, people did not understand, like, oh, so you're just trying to be like, and people were talking bad about me. And I was just like, it's not that serious, but it's a mindset. So I need to have someone in my life who has a similar mindset, who has the same future goals. There are a lot of people right now who are in relationships. They know that one person does not want children and the other person wants 5 children. Why are you entertaining this person knowing y'all don't have the same future goals? And again, I love Reddit because people go on Reddit all the time and they tell their stories. And we were dating for 3 years and I told him that I didn't want to have children. And now you're hearing about people, poking holes in condoms and, switching out their birth control pills for vitamins and intentionally on purpose getting the woman pregnant. Like, y'all don't have the same goals. Stop it. Separate and part ways. You're not my person, right? Lifestyle. Again, lifestyle can mean so many different ways. It can mean physical, it can mean fitness, eating habits, however you want to define your lifestyle. You want to find someone that's going to align with that, right? We see a lot of people right now, the nomads, the people that, the RV, the ones that get their RV, they buy it, and they're just driving all over the country. They touching all 48 continental states, and they have their partner with them, right? There's a woman, her name is Mom Trotter, and it's her husband, and their son. And I love their journey because together they made this decision. Together they got rid of the house and they purchased this beautiful RV and they travel the world. They don't only travel in the RV. Now they go to Colombia. Colombia is where they get their her husband and her son. They have to get braces, and they found that it's a lot cheaper to fly to Colombia and have the whole treatment done down there. You wanted to add something?
No, you can mute me. I'm sorry.
Not a problem. Right. So these are things like, and I want us to find our person that has that similar desire. If you want to live off grid and you want to go buy land out in Arizona and live off grid, then find someone that wants to do that with you. There's someone out there, they're in another state thinking about the same thing. Like, I would love to go live off grid, give me some land in Arizona. Find that instead of trying to bring someone that does not. There's some people that, I know I love the water. I would love to live by the ocean. And I don't mean Coney Island, guys. Like, don't hit me up. I've had people say that to me in the past. You can go live in Coney Island. No, thank you. Okay. I pass on that idea. But if I met someone and they're like, oh no, I would never want to live by the water. And no, and they don't like the water and they hate the sun, then there's no need for us to continue. We don't have the same lifestyle goals, right? Relationship. If that person does not have a relationship with God, the one thing that I remember Dave Ramsey he had put up a video and he's talking about his daughters. And he said, because he has the Christian background. And he said he told his daughters that, how did he put it? He said, you will not missionary date. I'm gonna bring little Raheem to God, and I thought it was hilarious how he put that. But a lot of times we feel like, well, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna introduce them to God. You know what? If you're in your early 20s, that might definitely be the case. But I don't want to necessarily be the person that I have to introduce you to God. I have to help you get through that whole process of, this is what God, this is who God is, and this is how this looks. And, I might have to introduce you to God as far as how my relationship goes. My relationship is not going to be the same relationship that you might have. So yes, I have met men that go to church. I don't go to church every Sunday, but there are ministries that I do support. There are ministries that I so into. There are ministries that I listen to their messages every week, sometimes multiple times throughout the week, because they have so many other messages that I can tap into. So it's how your relationship with God and this should align, right? I don't want to be with someone that is like, no, we got to go to church every Sunday. I don't know how I feel about that. Now, if I'm moved and called, God put that shift in me and says, yes, this is what I need for you. Cool, right? Because God is telling me to do that. But you have to realize that and understand what unequally yoked really means. It's a lot deeper. And I think the more that people really took time to understand what this meant, we will probably see healthier connections. We would see people be okay with walking away from a relationship that is not beneficial for them. It's not serving you. And it's okay to walk away. Everything doesn't have to be out of hate, doesn't have to be out of, I hate this person, screw him, screw her. No, sometimes we can just part ways because it's like, you know what? We're not even on the same page. We don't want the same desires, right? Modern day relationships, they want money. So you might see two people, both of them working 50, 60 hours a week. They're making $200,000 a year, right? Neither one of them can really go away. Maybe twice out the year, they can get their schedules aligned and they're able to go away. And they're cool with that. And then you have some people that they make $80,000 a year combined. They have a bunch of side hustles that they do. They make money online and they travel when they want to with their partner. And they're happy. They don't have children. They got a dog. Some of them have cats and they travel with their pets. Like everyone has a different happy, right? So you got to just figure out what does that really look like. And I think that's something that I think for the beginning of the year, I am going to do a workshop about that because I'm seeing that a lot of people don't know how to define happy for themselves. And they're really trying to fit the mold of other people. And what I'm going to try to do is I reached out to a few influencers that have the non-traditional way of living. Like there's a guy that I follow on TikTok. He has a tiny house. I forgot which state he's in, but he has a tiny house, and people talk about him because he drives Uber, and he also drives Uber Eats and like DoorDash, and he makes enough money. He has a Tesla, and so people are like, oh, you're broke. You're living in a tiny house. Tiny house is a movement right now. Like I'm like legit. I'm really like, God, where can I get me some land and get me a tiny house or a couple of tiny houses, right? And rent them out because that's a movement, right? A lot of people, you could take the same size of an apartment and put it into a tiny house and not have to deal with the amazing people that are making noise above you or worry about you making noise above someone else's head, right? And you can get the same size. Some people in New York City, like legit, they have 200 square feet. Imagine having 200 square feet in a tiny house that you can have it wherever you want it to and have it designed the way that you desire. And it's like fraction of a cost. And this guy said that he doesn't have a mortgage. He paid it outright. And his Tesla is his only real bill. And because it's electric, he's not paying the same cost in gas. And so when he drives Uber and Uber Eats at the end of the month, he has enough money. Like he's like, I'm not struggling. I'm not wanting for anything. So we have to start figuring out, what does happy mean for me? What does that look like for me? And then you can start to devise a plan for that. If that's something that you're looking forward to and you want to try to figure out, we can have those conversations in those one-on-one coachings because I want you to start setting up your life for you, no one else. Right? No one else. So the reason why we want to really start having these conversations even more is because we don't want to continue to be in bad company, right? Bad company is going to corrupt good morals. And when you're in these bad relationships, it's going to corrupt you. It's going to block your blessings. The good things that are meant to come for you is going to block you because you are in the wrong relationship, right? And a lot of times it's going to stop you from doing what God needs you to do. God is always giving us wisdom every single day. I said to my sister a couple of days ago, I said, God is always talking to us. She was like, no, he doesn't. I said, he does. I said, and I don't know why people say God doesn't speak because God talks to me a lot. And I'm like, so we have to just open up our ears and turn it on so we can hear and get all that wisdom and that knowledge. Like, I don't say these things because I just know these things. I say these things because God poured this into me, right? Miss Inspiration was birthed because I would just go live and I would just start speaking words. And sometimes I would go back and listen and be like, Dad, I said that, because that just all became, I became a vessel. And God was just like, I'm just going to speak to her. I mean, I'm going to speak to them through her. And that's what it is. So get out those bad relationships. Don't want to be around them. You are worthy, right? You are worth waiting for. You might need at least 3 months to work some things out, to get into action. You are worth that. You are worth it, right? And that's why they say in Proverbs 18, he who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. So you, first of all, we got to get this in our mind. I should have really posted this on this slide. You are the prize. Ladies, you are the prize. I don't know where this mindset, and men are the prize too. But I feel like what's being the rhetoric that's happening right now in society is that, the guy is a prize and you're lucky to have him. No, you're lucky to have us, because we make everything, we multiply that. And so when that man understands that I'm doing this, I'm being patient because I want the best that God has for me. And I know the woman that's going to come into my life, she's going to pour into me, and she's going to take whatever I give her and she's going to multiply it and make it a better thing. Yes, she's worth it. So he's going to be patient in whatever he's doing, and you're going to be patient because you know that whatever is coming is worth it, and you are worth the person waiting for. So I want you to write somewhere in your book, your notebook, I am the prize. Now, some of you might need to start fasting. I know that fasting is not something a lot of people like to do. I will share, because last year, right after I did this reading, we did a 7-day fast and prayer. And honestly, I haven't heard God say that I needed to do a corporate one, but maybe I would share the videos, because I record everything. So I can share with you that 7-day fast and prayer. Every day we met in the morning and we prayed. There was like a small teaching because there was even more insight that God. Actually, I'm gonna go. Yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna do that pre-recording on Facebook. Those teachings will start to play next week. That's how we're gonna do it. And we're gonna go back and we're going to join me starting 7 a.m. next week, pre-recorded. So this is from 2021. But that fasting is gonna open up your ears. It's gonna really give you insight as to what things that God needs for you to do. Honestly, the one thing that I started to do, and I have to get back to doing better, praying like how Muslims and Jews pray. Like I think about a couple of weeks ago, before I left for Myrtle Beach, I went to Lowe's and I'm in the parking lot, right? And I thought at first I was like witnessing maybe somebody being abducted, being kidnapped, right? So I'm in my car, and this man put out a rug next to his car because it was time for him to pray. And I was just like, you know what, God, if there's one thing that I could pray that we would change in Christianity, I would pray that would be one thing. Because that's the one thing that I don't feel like a lot of us do consistently. Like we don't, Muslims, they will excuse themselves from class. They will find wherever they need to go. They'll have their rugs, they'll have their sheets, and they will go and they will pray. And Christians, we don't have that same level of tenacity when it comes to prayer. And that's the one thing that I used to do. I used to pray in the morning. I used to pray in the afternoon. I pray before I drive. I pray when I'm walking out of my door. People like my friends, they'll be on the phone with me as I'm turning on my car, and I say my quick prayer. And I'm like, Lord, cover me, protect me from property, pedestrians, drivers, bicyclists, animals, objects, right? I'm in New York City. I know exactly everything that I'm going to come in contact with. So I ask God to protect me from all of those things. And when I get on the highway, Lord, cover all of us, give us the spirit of alertness while we are all driving. So it's not just me, but it's everyone else. We just got to get into that habit, and just doing and having that level of prayer with him in all things. And I feel like when we start to do that, things will really start to shift in our life. So you got to ask God, how often do I need to pray? It doesn't have to be like a 24-hour water prayer. I mean, water fast. I know some people that I know someone that I'm under her ministry. She does a 24-hour water fast where all she drinks is water for 24 hours. She does that at least once a week. And I'm like, God, I can't wait to get there. I'm not there yet. But you can do 3 hours, right? First thing in the morning. You can do 3 hours in a day. You can do 8 hours. You can do 10 hours, 12 hours, and again, I always say, just be smart, use your wisdom, because if you're on medication, if you have certain illnesses, you have to be very, mindful about what it is that what you need to do and how you need to fast. Sometimes fasting also does not necessarily mean fasting from food. Some of you might need to fast from social media. You might need to fast from just a particular thing. So I remember being a part of my old church. I intentionally fasted from coffee, right? Y'all know me. I love my Starbucks. So I'm always in Starbucks. So I had to fast from coffee, and I did that and I actually challenged myself to go further than the 21 days. And I think I did it for up to like 32 days. I did it without drinking coffee. So when you deprive yourself from something that you feel like like I need my coffee. Like I used to tell myself that, and I know I don't need coffee, but I would say that I need it. God is going to reward you because you have deprived yourself from something that that he knows. God knows, he knows it's better. So he's like, if she's willing to give up coffee, oh, I'm about to blow her mind. So it might be, for some of you, it might be tea. And, you might be addicted to certain types of tea. Some of you might be addicted to soda. Challenge yourself to fast from that particular item. And when you have that desire, right, this is what you should do, right? When I used to get that I used to get frustrated, and I'm like, oh my God, I need some coffee. That's when I knew I needed to pray. And that's when I would just go into prayer. And even no matter where I was at, I'll be on the street and I'm about to walk past Dunkin' Donuts or 7-Eleven. The 7-Eleven got some good coffee, or Starbucks. And I would just step to the side and I would just start praying. And I was just praying whatever God was putting on my heart at that time to pray or pray about. That's what I prayed about. So there's a lot of different strategies. So stay tuned for that next week. For those of you that register, I will put out that email, and you also will get an automatic email invitation so you can see that pre-recording. But I feel like that was a really good time because we was praying and fasting for our purpose mate. And so, going into the new year, it's kind of good to kind of set that foundation, put those prayers out there, because it's not just like I'm praying for a man, we're praying for that person's health. It was a really good conversation. I'll probably go live later on this week to talk more about that, to prepare us for that. So just kind of stay tuned, stay tuned in on Facebook and on my social media platforms, because I will definitely talk about that as well. So we're coming to the final close. Today is day 7, and I really enjoy this. And as always, I always give an opportunity for anyone that wants to work with me one-on-one, especially in regards to finding your purpose. I am definitely one of those individuals. I want each one of us to start healing. And healing is scary for many people. Healing that looks different for a lot of individuals. And then the one thing that I realize is that when we don't heal, it's harder for us to identify and start living in our purpose. And if we're not living in our purpose, you're not going to find your best self. You're not going to find the things that are truly bringing you joy and getting you to the life that you truly desire, the life that God desires for you. And so if you are interested and you want to take that step, you want to work one-on-one where we can really sit for 2 sessions in a month, and I'm offering this for 2 months. So normally I do this one-time special. And then after that, if you want to continue, you will pay the full price. So here you'll be able to lock into this price for 2 months. And we will, for those 2 sessions, really dive into and start to devise a plan that's going to be for you. And everyone is going to be different. So this is the reason why we can't, it's not, it's just kind of just letting you know, some of you might need, plans towards how to identify your purpose. Some of you might know your purpose, but you don't know how to start implementing things. Some of you might need to start to devise like how to start establishing a healthier lifestyle and overcoming unhealthy habits and building and boosting your confidence and your self-esteem. It's going to really look different for everyone. But as long as it ultimately gets you towards devising a healthier, healed lifestyle with purpose, on purpose, then I know that I have achieved what God is putting them in my spirit to help you with. So if you are interested, you can definitely look at the description, and there's a link there. You can register. This price will last until December 10th. For those of you that have registered, you do have an additional 10% promo code. So go into those emails and use that code, and you will be able to sign up. And again, you will be locked into that price for 2 months. So I am Tanisha Shanee, and I thank you for spending for the last 7 days. And I know we had Saturday was a little hiccup, but we came here until Tuesday to finish out these 7 days. But I'm thankful to have that. And I will have some information out about the audiobook. So I have, like I said, last weekend, I went into the studio, I recorded the audiobook for this. So I will be putting a pre-order out, so that for those of you that would rather listen to my amazing voice. I realize my voice is not that bad, but for those of you that would rather listen to me read the book to you, you will have that opportunity. So that will drop at the beginning of the year, but we will start to do a promo, start talking about it. There's going to be a bonus chapter, right? So there's a bonus chapter in the audiobook that's not in this book. And there's a special interview. And you also will have access to the behind the scenes of me actually recording that said book. So it's going to be like a nice little package. So you're not just going to listen, but you're going to be able to, go to YouTube and watch videos and see how I, put this together, and the times that I messed up. And I was like, and people making noise, and I got to cut my eye at them. So you're able to see like how I put that together. And I'm really excited about that, because that was something that really it took me out of my comfort zone. I never thought, as much as I speak and I teach, I never thought that I would ever record an audiobook. But God was like, you got this. You're going to go in there, you're going to knock it out. So you will be able to get that information. So check your emails, stay connected with me on social media, but we will start the promotion of that so that you can put your pre-order and get all the little goodies. And I might be able to even give you, by the time the pre-order come out, you might be able to get the introduction, at least get the introduction available so you can start listening to you. I might just put that little taste out there for y'all. We'll see. The editing process has already started, so it's definitely going to happen. All right. But thank you again for the last 7 days. Look forward to sharing more about the 7-day prayer and fasting for our Purpose Mate that will be airing on my YouTube and my Facebook channels starting next week. Now, Instagram, you will not have access to that because these are pre-recordings, but I will make sure every day you will have the link for the YouTube, and you can go to YouTube and you can check out those videos as well. So you will not be left out. So thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Be well, be blessed, and stay tuned for more information about upcoming masterclasses and other teachings like this. I hope you enjoyed it. God loves you. I love you. Have an amazing night and enjoy the rest of your holiday season.